but if I'm going to go to a movie genre, I love espionage.
Yeah. Okay. So which one of your favorite espionage films?
That's a really great question.
Hi, and welcome to the Story, a podcast where storytellers disrupt. I'm David Noronha.
And I am Fabiano Altamora.
Wow, you did that normally.
I did it normally.
I was waiting for a her, or something like that.
2 episodes now.
Please remember to like, subscribe, follow, and give us that 5-star review. So, brother, you've got a fun, pivotal question after our last heavy topic.
Yeah. I want to know, do you watch do you watch content, let's say content because it's broad.
Yeah.
For entertainment or for inspiration? Like, what is your main go-to?
Like music,
yeah,
which is why occasionally I listen to country, your favorite genre of music.
Holy Lord.
You know, Beyonce just released a country song.
I definitely won't be listening to that. I guarantee you that. People say there are no guarantees.
I guarantee it. All right, so listen, man, I'm a moody, it depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Like if I'm feeling a little bit sulky, right? I'm listening to jazz. So that's me with music, right? Like, yeah, I do. Like if I want to listen to bittersweet, man, I listen to like jazz from the 50s and 60s, and I imagine myself with a martini and in a smoky room.
You like that, like feelings. Melancholy, don't you,
bro.
Dude?
Mad
you are
Men,
like
listen, I joke with my wife. She doesn't think it's too funny, but I think it's funny. My dream time to have lived in would have been in the 50s and in the early 60s.
Yeah, I could tell. I mean, fashion was awesome.
Oh, bro, the hats,
beautiful,
the suits, the cars.
Oh yeah, I did when I was 19. I used to sit in my apartment in Italy, and I'd just sit in the corner and I would listen to Sade, and I would just sit before my cousin would come for about 2 hours, and I would just write songs.
Oh, Sade. Yeah, we'll go down a rabbit trail.
We will go down a bit of a rabbit
Celebrity
trail.
crush. I actually saw her live, by the way, in Vegas. One of the best concerts ever. And I can tell you at least 2,000 babies were conceived that night.
And then how many more millions to her albums? Love
forget
Deluxe.
About it.
Oh my.
It's the soundtrack of procreation.
Love Deluxe is one of my favorite albums ever.
Out. I've had it on, listen, I've had it on every format possible. I had it on cassette originally, CD, digital, and now I have actually the entire vinyl collection of every Sade.
Every
Sade. Lisa bought it for me for my birthday.
Now that's when you go to music for like art. Like when I'm at the gym,
okay,
I'll listen to Jay-Z.
Are you working out by the way? He asked me to softball that question are you working out?
Yeah, quite a lot, actually.
Quite a lot.
Quite a lot.
That's the topic of another episode. So we're going to have to cliffhang you. And why did Noronha ask Fabiano Altamora her if he was working out a lot? To be continued on that one.
To be continued on that, because there's a show coming up.
So when you are at the gym, what do you listen to?
Oh, dude, I used to listen to podcasts.
Oh, how on earth? While you're pumping?
I wanted to get that inspiration. I want to teach. But now, dude, if I'm not going to lie, it's either like a dance house mix.
100%.
Or it's Jay-Z. And the
radio edit?
No, definitely not the radio edit. But like that gets me pumped, dude.
Listen, if you came from a certain part, like from my neighborhood where I grew up in Hialeah, aka Miami to most people, it had to have a beat to get you going.
Yeah.
Like 100%. I grew up on rap and, Beastie Boys, Run DMC, all those guys, then into dance music, house music, club music, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, for me, so listen, I do go there.
Yep.
I don't know if this happens to you. Are you affected by language or anything in the stuff? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. I'm just curious if you are.
Great question. I don't know, dude. I mean, I don't know half the time what the lyrics are.
Sure.
And Jay-Z's lyrics, very, very non-linear in my mind. I just love the beat.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could be wrong. Does the music affect you? I guess it does if you allow it to.
Yeah.
For me, it just gets me in that zone to pump. I feel great when I listen to it.
Okay.
But that's,
No, I'm just curious. I mean, look, I'm the same way. Like, if I'm just warming up, then maybe I'm listening to something a little bit more down tempo. And I'm very varied in music. We've talked about music before, but I think your original question was, and I led us down a beautiful rabbit trail, maybe content and maybe content that's not music. So maybe like stuff on either social media, YouTube.
Will you watch a movie?
Streamers.
Like, for example, you might watch a foreign film because you want to be inspired by art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or are you going to go to your big blockbuster movies because you want entertainment? I mean, it can be both, but I'm like, as artists, we talk about, we want to create art that inspires.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I think is great, but like, I'd rather direct, this is really weird. I'd rather direct a show that fulfills me creatively than necessarily sit down and watch something like a foreign movie that I know is going to be beautiful. I'd rather sit down sometimes and I just want to be entertained because
you're tired. You don't want to think.
But that's bad though, isn't it?
No, not at all.
You don't think it is? Not want to
I don't know if it's bad or good, but I know that it's very human. Listen, man, on a Friday, when your brain is trashed, you've been you've been working hard at work, whatever it is that you do, your kids. My daughter, God bless her, she is the apple of my eye. She says to me, Dad, I was so excited to see Scorcese's Killers of the Flower Moon.
The trailer was good. What was the film like?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay.
Because my 8-year-old green-eyed daughter, to whom my only response is, yes, baby. Yes, my love.
Of course.
She says to me, Daddy. And literally, I was counting the time. My youngest son and I, we'd made a date. We were going to sit down and watch Scorcese's film. He's a little bit of a cinephile. And so we like to watch some good stuff, even though he hated Magnolia. All my sons hated Magnolia. Oh yeah, I love that film too. And so, I was counting down the time, and she pops out the slider and she says to me in the backyard, she's like, Daddy, the new Marvel film is out. You want to watch it with me?
Oh.
And she was sad about something. And so I'm like, yeah, baby, I'll watch this with you. Listen, can I tell you how exhausted I am by Marvel right now? I am knackered, exhausted, blown out, tired. This Ms. Marvel thing looks like it was written by ChatGPT. Bro, to say it was all over the place, I can't even. I thought I was watching.
That's the one with the reviews tanked.
Oh my gosh, bro! So they took the multiverse or the three, and there's a series with Ms. Marvel, this young kind of. I believe that she's from India, and then she's kind of like an artist who likes Ms. Marvel. So they mash this up with Brie Larson's character, and then there's this other storyline. It literally looked. If a film could be a platypus, if a platypus could birth a film, it would be Ms. Marvel.
Wow.
I made it about 35 minutes and I was like, oh, baby, listen, it's been a long day. Why don't we finish watching it? And I'm secretly hoping she doesn't remember.
She doesn't remember it. Yeah, I heard it tanked. I mean, here's the thing with the Marvel movies and that kind of genre. I think it's a money-making machine, 100%. Right? And you've got to win a flipping Oscar to be in it. And I have no idea why, because I can't imagine the prep and the character flipping breakdowns and the character analysis is going to be too deep.
No.
And I think if people are going into it, I'm like, really?
Listen,
you have no dialogue.
No, at all. But listen, here's what we know, right? Like the reason why actors do it is it's a strategic business move. It positions you globally. You are now you are known everywhere. You're in Bangladesh, Bogota, Colombia. Everybody knows you. I mean, to this day, Ewan McGregor can't go anywhere. When he did his motorcycle show and he traveled South America, everybody called him Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I mean, it positions you for life. So then you can make your little art house films and that nobody cares about.
It does. It does. I just can't watch, because that's one thing I can't. Well, I find that really hard because I feel like there's no like definitive protagonist. There's like 5 of them, and unless you've seen all the films back to back, which I haven't, I watch one and go, I don't understand what the hell.
I'm exhausted because I actually started with what's his face, the original Iron Man film.
Oh yeah, Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah. But I mean, this has been going on for 23
But he adds a
years.
bit of credibility to it.
Oh, he's phenomenal
he's a
in
great
it.
actor.
And the original in it, he was funny. He made superheroes irreverent and all kinds of stuff. It was fantastic. 45 films later, I've seen them all. I have 3 boys. I think I have seen every single Marvel film and series that has ever come out. I'm exhausted. All right, so here's the question. All right. When you're feeling awake, you've had your cappuccino, you're in the mood to think. What have you watched over the last year or two that would fit the bill of the thinking man's film or show, something that like stimulated you that you were like, man, that was beautifully acted, cinematography, whatever.
Yeah, I'm watching Hunters right now.
Oh, that's a great series.
And
it's brutal.
It's brutal, but I also think, dude, it's very timely right now.
100%.
Right. So I'm watching that, and I'm
Pacino's in
enjoying
it.
it. Pacino's in it.
Mm-hmm. Deals with a kind of what if universe. Nazis were still among us, and a Jewish kind of secret society is going after and hunting them down.
Yeah. And it's interesting because I think there's got to be some basis in truth there.
Well, they hid. I mean, a lot of the Nazis hid in Argentina,
right? And probably the U.S. as well, right?
Oh, in fact, quick story.
You know,
my grandfather, Cuban grandfather, that I call kind of like the Cuban Willy Loman. One day he says to me, "Hey, I need you to come to this business meeting with me." I go to the business meeting because my grandfather was always working on these deals, and I sat there with a Nazi.
Are you serious?
I sat there with a guy who had hid out in South America. I didn't know this till I got there. And I'm sitting there in this conversation, and my grandfather's having me translate because my grandfather was going to get, I don't know, some kind of bonds or something that had been hidden. I don't know. They were bilking my grandfather. It was a total scam, total scam. But the guy was a Nazi, and he had hidden out in Argentina.
Reformed? I mean, how do you know? I guess you know.
I don't think so.
And there's another show with Chloe Grace Moretz, which is another AI type thing where she goes in a game.
Oh, Peripheral. Yeah, I've watched a couple of episodes of it.
I enjoyed that.
It's pretty mind bending. Yeah, I don't know why. It was one of those trains I hopped on for like 3 episodes, and I mean, it was.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. So
do you like sci-fi stuff?
I like stuff that I do, but I like things that I love it where the guys have like for example, Man in the High Castle.
Oh, brilliant! One of my
whether
series.
They're contemplating this question: what would have happened if the Nazis had won?
Sure.
I love things like that.
What if
in episodic form? Because you can build. Then it gets a bit stupid.
Man in the High Castle, Hunters. I would kind of put those in the same category.
Yep.
Almost What If World War II. Kind of my favorite thing.
And there was another one called Counterpart with J.K. Simmons.
Oh, okay. Not seen it.
Two alternate universes. But J.K. Simmons is in one and in the other. In one, he's very passive. In one, he's very aggressive. And they meet.
Oh,
just very interesting. I like
you have me at J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, I like mind-bending things like that. I don't know if I find that in many amazing movies, but if I'm going to go to a movie genre, I love espionage.
Yeah. Okay, so what's one of your favorite espionage films?
That's a really great question right now.
I mean, when you say espionage, are we talking like 007 stuff?
Yeah, 007, MI, Mission Impossible, Bourne Trilogy.
So like action thriller,
I do like action
thriller.
thriller. Yeah, exactly. Stuff like that. Definitely.
Is that why you're working out? Is there a role that you're about to get where your shirt's going to come off? And
there might be an action movie coming up in the summer.
Okay. To be continued, folks.
Again,
we're just teasing the heck out of you.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm moody. If I'm tired, I kind of want to watch something a little mindless, but even mindless for me because I have an 8-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
She's awake when I'm awake because now I'm getting up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
So I go to sleep at the same time that my 8-year-old daughter goes to sleep. So we're watching Clarkson's Farm together right now.
Even with the language?
Yeah, I know. But
it's genius, isn't it?
The thing about it is, so first of all, my daughter doesn't use any of the words. We also at home don't use that kind of language. We had a conversation about it, which is how I've handled language before. Yeah. Like she doesn't do scary stuff, so we don't do that together. Yeah. Certainly wouldn't do anything sexual around her. Some people might take offense to the language. In many cases, they're working class people who are just, speaking the language, that I'm sure the fishermen in the Bibles did it well as well. She loves the animals. And she, I think, kind of has a dream of having some goats and some sheep and some chickens. She would love to wear overalls and have her own farm.
That's beautiful.
So she watches it, and we laugh at the young kid.
Oh my gosh, Caleb. Oh my Lord. What about the guy that you can't understand?
You can't understand at all.
Oh my goodness.
I would love to hear you imitate this guy. Where is he from? Why does he talk like that?
So Caleb is a very regional accent, but the other guy.
Yeah. What
you
is that?
can't understand.
He's
I think
72.
it's somewhere, yeah, in the Cotswolds. Is it in the Cotswolds?
Cotswolds, yeah.
Cotswolds, yeah. It's a very country bumpkin accent.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, I can't understand. And I'm English, and I can't understand.
You can't
a word.
understand him.
No.
Oh
no. Can't understand a word of what he's saying.
It almost reminds me like if you were to take it's almost like Ricky Gervais has written it, but it's real people.
But and I don't know how they cast it because they're all in the same village.
Absolutely brilliant.
Genius.
And then there's the super like square guy that's always the bean.
Oh yeah,
guy.
The family.
Charlie.
Charlie. Now that's content that I like to go to.
Brilliant.
I actually get inspiration from that.
It is.
It's like, if you watch a good cooking show,
yeah,
like Jamie Oliver or something, I'm like, this is, unscripted.
But it's not trashy.
No, it's not trashy. And I am watching Love is Blind season 6 right now.
Brilliant show as well. Wait, Love is Blind. Which one is that?
Yeah.
Where they put the people together?
In pods.
Oh,
and you don't see each other until you propose and then you get married.
So I saw a very, very early version of that. For a second, I thought you were talking about Love on the Spectrum.
No, Love on the Spectrum is unbelievable.
Made me cry. The first season made me cry.
And second season's even better.
I haven't seen the second season.
Brilliant.
I watched that with my daughter.
You did? Phenomenal TV. Now that's TV that inspires me.
It is, man. I mean, listen, so the Clarkson, it's funny that you would say that it inspires me because it does it to me as well. You know what I learned from Jeremy Clarkson? The reason he inspires me is because even when he messes up, he just keeps going for it.
I know. When he's putting his Lamborghini tractor and he knocks. Yeah, I know.
He's fearless. He's kind of unapologetic. Even working with the town, and I'm sure some of this is, worked and engineered and stuff. He just keeps kind of trying to go for it. I also think it's quite lovely. I've also been kind of touched by him highlighting the plight of farmers. Mm-hmm. And kind of saying, these are the people who feed us.
Right.
And we just don't care.
Yeah.
We're just crushing these poor people.
But that's like, if you want to go to inspiration, you have to go to like docuseries.
Yeah.
Right?
Documentaries.
Docuseries, anything that inspires
real people.
Like I love watching documentaries on Mount Everest. And
that's something AI will never be able to do.
Inspire people.
Well, there's that.
Take the adventurer out. And
you've got real stories of real people. And by the way, true crime, real people, documentaries, docuseries. We love real people. So maybe, depending on when we're listening to these episodes, you can go back and reference our episode on AI. Just thinking about that because we just recorded that episode. Maybe that's a little bit of a vaccination about this thing, is that actually human beings really like, even babies, right? Smile because you see your mother smile. Yeah. Maybe that'll protect us a little bit on that whole conversation.
That's a good genre that I like to be inspired by. Like, the documentaries and Clarkson's Farm, because I want to be inspired by people that are doing things. It's fun. But like movies right now, I think the movie that inspired me, the documentary was Mully. That really inspired me.
Blew me away.
An episode of that. But then Minari, we talked about that. That's another great movie. I don't think that I necessarily would sit, unless we were doing an episode on it. I don't necessarily gravitate towards that kind of movie, but when I do, I'm thankful that I have. But there was a movie that I think was very interesting. It's called Everywhere, Everything.
Oh, don't. Are you joking?
Did you not like that movie
right now? I hated that film.
Oh my gosh,
I do not use that word. I despise that film.
Oh my goodness. It was.
Are you yanking my chain right now?
No, it's one of Josh's favorite films.
I know. We had an awkward conversation.
And I'm like, what a clever film.
I hated it. Absolutely despised it.
Really? I've not got through to the end, but I'm like, I was really enjoying the concept.
I wanted to punch it.
So clever.
If the film were a person, I would take it into an alley and I would punch
what's
it in
it called?
the throat.
Everything, everywhere.
See, here's the thing: everything, all the time, nothing at all in the toilet. I hated that film,
dude.
Why did you like it?
Oh, dude, the concept is so. I like people's concepts,
but the stupid thumbs and the fingers, and then the other weird thing.
But I just thought it was clever. Clever.
Forgive me for using this word. For me, it was masturbation, useless masturbation on film.
But how many Oscars, dude?
I don't care. I really don't care. This is one of those where I'm like, I don't care. Put me on a field on an island with people. I think we're going to wake up. We're going to look back on it and we're going to think, what were we drinking?
You think?
Like
really?
Madonna.
Wow.
We're going to look back and we're going to think, was everybody on cocaine?
With Madonna?
Yeah. What were we drinking?
She was
when
just
we
a
thought she
genius
was
in
great.
marketer. Like, she
She
really
can't sing. Right. And we're going to go
and
back.
She wasn't a great dancer, but I mean, listen, but I don't know, dude. That was something about that I thought, this is clever.
Well, this is odd because you and I never disagree. Let me ask you a question. Have you seen Oppenheimer?
I have seen Oppenheimer.
Okay. What did you think?
I really enjoyed it. I didn't like the scenes with, she was in Little Women. Help me forget her name. The British actress, Florence Pugh.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't think the nudity was necessary.
Why?
You know what I mean? But I enjoyed Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Matt Damon. Man, he'd put some weight on. Holy jeez Louise.
He did.
I enjoyed it. I love things around the Second World War, dude.
Me too. It's not my favorite Nolan film. My favorite Nolan film is
Interstellar. Don't say Tenet. Please don't say Tenet.
No. Tenet, I didn't enjoy at all. In fact, I don't even know that I got all the way through it.
No,
does anybody know what happened? What is that film about? No, I was bored. Interstellar,
mind-bending, amazing, love.
And it moved me, which a lot of Nolan films, or maybe not a lot, but not all of them move me. They're all worth watching because he's a master at work.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
He's a master filmmaker. Mm-hmm. And I've learned the hard way that it's like, with Nolan, it's not all about enjoyment, but, Dunkirk, this, that, like, you can watch them all. He's listen, dude, I mean, what he did with Oppenheimer with practical effects, and we've all seen the YouTube videos and the reviews on this, but the questions that he was asking, by the way, I started trying to read American Prometheus, the book that inspired Nolan to do this.
Oh, wow.
600-page tome where literally, we're talking about every friend he ever had, every conversation, every letter that he wrote. I got about 150 pages in and I was like, oh man, I don't think I can do this. God bless you, Nolan. But the film for me asked some really fundamental questions that I think are really timely right now around AI, which is just whenever there is a new technology, humanity is always faced with some really tough questions. Mm-hmm. And I think it did it brilliantly.
Yeah. And then I would say, like, I really enjoyed Dunkirk.
Yeah, Dunkirk.
It was very, very out of Nolan's style.
Yeah, it was. And it
very out of his style compared to like Inception and Interstellar and very out of his style.
No, it was almost classic.
Very, very much so. And it was a great movie. Loved that movie.
By the way, parenthetically, Masters of the Air, produced by Tom Hanks, Playtone, and Amblin Spielberg, is World War II air pilots. It's on Apple TV right now. I'm actually watching that. Yeah, the young kid who played Elvis is that was either a horse or a donkey or Elvis.
Didn't Elvis sound like a horse then?
I'll say that in front of my wife. Her name is Lisa Marie. Mm-hmm. Okay, but here's maybe the most controversial question I'm going to ask you today, which is, have you seen Barbie?
Hell no. Oh, dude, I started watching it on the plane.
Oh, you started watching it?
I did. I thought gosh, even the opening shot, I was like, this is just mind-blowingly boring.
Yeah.
Have you seen it?
I actually have committed to going to my grave not seeing it. And every 20-something that I meet, our film students, I had a really awkward conversation with our film students. We were on set filming something with them. And I was eating my lunch and Barbie came up. And I'm like, oh, when is this film going to go away? So I never have to talk about it. Because it's just led one awkward conversation with anybody under the age of 35. So I'm sitting there at lunch and I'm trying to like hang with the students and be cool, Mm-hmm. And so I'm sitting with them and I'm eating, and then the conversation pivots. And I just kind of put my head down and I just kind of went into my food, and I'm thinking, oh, they won't ask me. And then one of our alum actually said, so David, have you seen Barbie? And literally I could feel my anxiety just kind of rise, because I'm like, I actually have strong feelings about this thing. Mm-hmm. And so anyways, it was a very awkward conversation. One gentleman who's incredibly bright made a great argument for my watching it, to which I responded, I'm fairly certain I will die not having seen Barbie and be okay.
Why would I watch a film on a doll?
This is what I said.
I mean, like,
this is what I
just
said.
The fact that it's called Barbie means I'm not going to watch it. I mean, I didn't watch G.I. Joe,
But Fab, it's a commentary, man. You just don't get it.
But the thing is, the commentary is really not great.
Listen, you just don't get it. Greta Gerwig, whom I love, by the way, her Little Women was brilliant. She's a real amazing thinker. I like Gerwig as a director. But Barbie, this is where I started and I stopped. You had me and you lost me at Barbie. Why the hell am I, as a 51-year-old man, going to watch a movie about this? I've had grown men tell me, you have to watch it. You have an 8-year-old daughter, you have to watch it. I said, not only am I not going to watch it, my daughter's not going to watch it.
But I don't want to. I don't want my daughter to see it. Hell no. No, I just know it's just, I mean, to sit down for 2 hours and know that I'm never going to get that 2 hours back. I mean, it's like, you're committing something that you're like, I don't know if this is going to be good. Like when you commit to watching a Scorcese film, it's 3.5 hours. And to be honest, the trailer of that film you were mentioning, what's it called?
The Flower Moon. Yeah.
It looks like I was yawning just watching the trailer. I mean, I love Scorsese, don't get me wrong, but I'm like, and I love Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he's probably the best actor in the world right now. But I'm like, good Lord.
Yeah. So my son Knight, who and stuff off of Juvie, he who had a podcast with Josh, he said, "No, I won't watch. It's too long. 3.5 hours. I'm not going to do it." Now my other son Isaiah, who's a cinephile, and Knight, by the way, has turned into a bit of a moviegoer as well. I mean, he's watched all these crazy films. He was watching a French film with a buddy last night. Super impressive, but he's like 3.5 hours. No, the thing about it is, I've grown up with Scorsese. Scorsese's one of those directors that, like, when my son asked me all the films that he'd done, I've seen every Scorsese film other than his like student, USC films. Mm-hmm. And so he's just one of those directors, like an artist that you love, a painter, where you're just like, no, I want to see every canvas that he ever paints. Mm-hmm. Have you ever seen Silence?
No.
So this one is with the dude, the Marriage Story. He was also in Star Wars. He played the bad guy. Adam Driver, who's in the Ferrari film. He was in it. The young kid Garfield was in it as well. It's about two missionaries that I think go to Asia.
Is that with Shia LaBeouf as well?
I don't know if he's in it. Yeah, I can't recall. Okay, so here's the experience I had with that film. Speaking of Scorsese.
I'm thinking of another one, sorry.
Talking about films where you have to invest. It's not for it. You're going to work. You're going to have to work. Mm-hmm. So Scorsese spent, 10, 15 years working on the script for this thing. He considers it, in part, his magnum opus.
Yeah.
And 10 years. So I'm like, okay, so I started watching it at night, and it was like a Friday night. I was trash tired. I made it about 30, 40 minutes, and I was like, oh, I'm falling asleep. I feel this is criminal because it's Scorsese.
Yeah, I know.
Spent 10 years.
Yeah.
So here's what I did. I went to sleep. I still had it for like 24, 48 hours. I actually had my Nespresso machine, which I just gotten. I got myself a double espresso, and then I watched it, and then I understood it.
Is it good?
Oh, it's brilliant. But it is like watching almost like one of those Japanese, like a series of Japanese paintings, where they do with like the ink and the stuff. Mm-hmm. But it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I mean, it's not like a plot-driven film. It is this portraiture, this slow-moving portraiture. But I just felt that he deserved my time, and I was willing to give it to him.
And he's an artist, though, isn't he? I mean, that's
he is.
The thing. It's like, I remember. Do you ever watch the movie Hugo that he did?
Yeah,
with a little kid. Like,
yeah, I've seen every single one of them.
Beautiful. And I think films
it's
like
so versatile too.
So versatile. And I think, going back to like, do we go to art or content to inspire or entertain? I think for me, it's both. It depends on the mood I'm in.
Okay. So last question before we go out. Confessions.
Yep.
The stupidest, most embarrassing thing that you're almost hesitant to tell people out loud that you watched and you actually enjoyed. But it might embarrass you. It might embarrass you a little bit because it's kind of like maybe it was either a guilty pleasure or just absolutely ridiculous.
That's a great question, dude. I don't know. I think there are probably too many but I just can't recall. But like I would say, okay, if I would say to my guy friends, I'm watching Love is Blind, they would go, what the heck are you watching? Because it is really trashy TV. Like it's it's a great experiment. It's a great concept.
So if it's trashy, why are you watching it? I mean,
because
I'm not questioning
it becomes
but why?
addictive because you fall in love with the characters.
Because it's like a car accident, right?
Yeah, but you want to see who gets married, who says no at the altar, all that kind of stuff. So you kind of go, you're like 9 episodes in, you're like, this is boring, but I've just got to find out who ends. So they actually create the story arc really well.
Oh, I mean, listen, it's kind of brilliant to take.
It's brilliant. It's
all right.
brilliant.
How about we go out here? Maybe like the sappiest, most romantic, not typical guy film that you secretly go to and you cry like a baby.
I would say, Sleepless in Seattle.
Yeah, because you love Tom Hanks.
I love Tom Hanks. Sleepless in Seattle, You Got Mail.
And Meg Ryan.
She's easy on the eyes. Well, she was then. She's not now. Well, she isn't. All that plastic surgery, dude. Yeah. Holy moly. But I would say that they're the movies that I would go to, and like 80s, early 90s, my jam, bro.
So you'll appreciate this. The movie that is almost so romantic, so painful for me to watch, that goes deep for me because I dated an Italian girl.
Yeah.
Cinema Paradiso.
Oh, that's a phenomenal movie.
If I watch Cinema Paradiso is what it looks like in English. It's about this little boy that grows up, and it reminds me kind of like the stories that you tell me of your father, of like when he was in a little classroom with like the leather boots and stuff. Do you imagine like that would be the kind of town your dad grew up in?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're all very similar like that in Italy as well. Beautiful.
That film crushes me every single time. I can't listen to the theme without getting like sad and sulky like a teenage girl.
That other one is, I'll tell you another Italian film. It's called L'ultima neve di primavera. It's the last snows of spring.
Oh, okay.
And that film,
I've
mentioned it, yes. But the score in that film, it's by Roberto Michelazzi, I think.
You freaking Italian.
Oh, dude. Oh, it just, I've said to you, I want to get the rights to that to make it.
You do, to make it into a series.
But flipping heck, dude, that is a film that makes me cry. It was originally coined as one of the original tearjerkers.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't resolve at the end.
Yeah.
But like, the father, you can see the father has changed, but it's a father-son film.
Listen, when you say heartstrings, here's the deal. Italians, if you didn't invent opera, you're definitely one of the major contributors to it. So you start playing a score to a romantic Italian thing, and I'm kind of I'm undone. And on that sappy note, sir, you and I, the man who's working out, who likes to cry at Italian films, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you.
We'll see you next time.